Hey, do you remember a couple years ago when I told you about how Kody and Robyn literally believe like they are more spiritual and evolved and enlightened, and Kody is essentially like the speaker of God and he gets prophecies, and Robyn truly believes that like Kody is this godly thing, and they believe that they are spiritually elevated over everyone else and act like they are better than people, and it's kind of creepy and cult-like. Remember I told you that this last night's show they exposed the crazy? And I hate to use that word, but they did. They exposed their delusional beliefs here, and it was all around Kody's apology to her and saying that he had to do this in order to release the women. Because it's 2026, and women are property. And of course, Suki was worthless and allowed the narcissist who with a god complex, Kody, to act like women need to be released when they were the ones that left him. Yeah. Yes. 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 That happened. And David was so angry. I actually like David because David, he can see Kody for who he is. David has this man clocked to the T. Knows how Kody's how Kody ticks, knows every detail about what his thoughts, feelings, and emotions, why he's doing things, what his motives are. He has him so nailed. Janelle is still a fool and still thinks because of her enda that Kody's apology was real, like what it was, Christine and David that brought the energy that truly exposed Kody and Robyn's cult marriage and cult control. Kody exposed himself as a cult boss last night. They all agree that David needed to be there to keep Kody from doing anything inappropriate, which tells me what were they expecting Kody to do? I mean, Janelle and Mary met with him separately, and he didn't do anything super funny. I mean, he tried. No. Yeah, he did. He flirted hard with Janelle. But regardless of what you think of whether David should have been there or not, he was asked. It's a stupid argument about should he have been there? Right. Then next, Kody is saying that David doesn't have a right to have an opinion about him because he doesn't know him. He only thinks he knows him. And then David has some things to say. And if the rules were flipped, it's you and your husband. You're sitting out at a dinner with your husband's ex-wife, and your husband's ex-wife all of a sudden starts gushing to them about how much they love them and what a great experience they had in their relationship and how magical and beautiful the entire experience was, and the journey was so amazing. And they're just reflecting and looking back at life and really evaluating how amazing it was and how much they loved them. Now, put your reasonable brain on. What does that sound like? That's not an apology. That's like trying to put seeds into somebody's mind that I still have feelings for you. You don't say things like that. If you really are sorry. Everyone knows when he said that crap. He was just spewing hate. It's wrong. Kody has no limits at all. If it's your ex and you're married, if it's a wife or a hate wife or a husband, no matter whose ex it is, that whole exchange and Kody going around to all these women doing this is wrong with Robyn being his wife. Love you. When the problem for Kody with David is David's actually been surrounded by these arrogant, narcissistic, polygamist a-holes for decades because his sisters were married to them. And he knows exactly how they behave. He knows exactly how they treat women. And so he can literally test them because he knows why he's there. So if he lays out a question like, do you want to hang out at Moab? That would show a genuine interest in reconciliation and trying to move the needle forward, right? So if you really want to change, and you really want to do better, then you would take the steps to want to invest in the life of your ex, her husband, help bridge some of the divide here with, the fact that you still have a minor daughter with this woman, and that's her stepdad now. And he's raising your child. Don't you want to know the guy that's helping raise your child? And Kody didn't want to. He doesn't want to. Because it's not about healing. It's about selfish reasons and goals. And David's right. Why isn't Robyn there? Why isn't she there? Why is she always different when Kody's having these conversations? Doesn't she care what her husband's doing? And to this day, no. This is her reason. Because Robyn wanted open marriage, and yet she still says that, Kody's relationships with other women have nothing to do with her. What? And then also simultaneously saying that while making a face where she looks like she knows what it is wrong. She sees that's inappropriate. And yet she says, well, that would be, if David's enlightened enough, he would know that hearing that really inappropriate comment will help Christine heal. What? Christine left Kody. Kody didn't break up with Christine. She left his ass. Why would she need to hear from Kody that I did love you? What does that have to do with why she left? That's not why she left. She left because he treated her like crap. She left because he neglected her kids. She left because he didn't go to her daughter's surgery. She left because he almost killed her daughter. Truly, she left because he financially abused her for years. He emotionally neglected her. Mentally abused her. What does any of that, how does him saying, I did love you, fix anything? You only say that if you think you're better than people. You think that person's your property, and you think that you're God, and that your words can heal. And that if you don't understand that you are certainly not enlightened and developed and on the path that Kody and Robyn are, right? Not evolved enough. That's Robyn Brown there. He also said that Robyn acts like she wants polygamy, and yet she doesn't show up for things that literally involve her husband. So, she doesn't really want to deal with the family stuff or the XF family stuff. She still wants to be separate, even though she wanted polygamy and was begging for polygamy. And then when True, Suki, right there, she's clear that Robyn says that if he were more educated, he would accept that. And I just like that David called her and was like, that doesn't make sense. That makes no sense. I'm logical. I have common sense, and that is not reasonable, and that is not common sense. Essentially saying that's a story they've manufactured because they think they're so enlightened. And even laughs about this idea that Robyn and Kody are so educated. I mean, Suki was trying so hard to try to bend them to see Kody and Robyn's view. And the one thing I will say is that Mary would sometimes entertain it. Janelle would sometimes consider it. David was like, don't even bother me with these idiots and their ridiculous beliefs, and what they think and what they say is normal cause it's not. I mean, Kody went as far as to say that if he wants to tell her actually that he still loves her, he will. There. I'm gonna need to clip that part out and make it a joke because that's going to live on in history on Sister Wives. It wasn't a lie, but it wasn't true. It wasn't a lie, but it wasn't true. Ladies and gentlemen, that would be the meaning of a lie. If something is not true and you said it, you lied. When I said I didn't love her, that wasn't a lie. It wasn't true. What? Kody, how does Suki sit across the stage from him with a straight, I clearly remember someone telling me once that Kody has a super high opinion of himself and he literally thinks he's a famous celebrity that's super important. And so when I heard him say that David works in construction and he talks about things that I don't talk about, that was in my opinion the same way as Robyn saying, well, maybe if he were more enlightened, he would understand. Both Robyn and Kody are saying that David's too stupid to understand what they're doing. And because they're he's so stupid, they don't know what an amazing healer Kody is with his great words of saying, I loved you. And then Kody says, if I want to say to Christine today that I love her. As in the present. As in the present, you guys. He would have no trouble going up to Christine and saying, I love you. And that's not breaking bro code. And then Suki brings this back to him. Literally brings this fight of what Kody is saying to them. Why does she have to be the mediator here? Why can't they just all talk to each other? She's relaying the talk. It's ridiculous. But David was not moved by what he just said because he said that Kody is. He even said he doesn't want to understand what he says because he's so out. What I respect about David is he doesn't even want to entertain this rhetoric because this rhetoric is actually super abusive and incredibly misogynistic. And what has always bothered me about TLC using women to interview Kody is why are you allowing and placing a female journalist, and I use this loosely because she's not doing any journalism here, and put her in a way where she's literally being asked to help perpetuate misogynistic and violent tropes against women that place women in harm's way, make them become victims of sex trafficking, labor trafficking, and take away their rights, their autonomy, and their ability to make their own choices and have to live at the servitude of a man. That's what TLC does when they put a woman in a situation where she has to explain what Kody wants. And David doesn't even want to accept that this is misogynistic. Someone in my comments in my just recent video said, did you notice that David said that he would never allow Christine to go there or he would never have agreed to it? And they were like, oh, that's a giant red flag. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. Kody Brown is a bully. He's a scary man who is known to have all kinds of weapons. He is not he doesn't ascribe to following the rules of the law. He doesn't think that he needs to follow the law. He has shown over and over and over again that he has no problem abusing people, using people, and hurting people in order to get what he wants. And he has no respect for people's humanity, their individuality, their person. No one has rights but Kody. And Kody and David's like, I don't want to even consider what his point of view is because his point of view is poison. It's rude. I mean, when he says it's so far out in left field, that's what I'm hearing him say, because then he gets more pressed by Suki, who tries to get him to understand. Suki is literally disgusting to try to even relay this information to a husband of a woman that left an abuser, and then to try to make that husband accept that the abusive ex-husband is saying that the only way that your wife, my ex-wife, will move on is if I release her and allow her to move on, and if I tell her I did love her and now she can heal. Does anyone see how absolutely misogynistic and cruel that sounds? And she's literally just wrapping it around. Well, this was his statement that he had to do this from God. What God in what heaven would want a man to have 4 wives where he financially abuses them, neglects their children, doesn't pay for child support, doesn't pay for health insurance, only sees the kids once every couple days, maybe only a couple times a month, makes the women live next to near poverty, and then puts them on a reality show where he benefits all of the money financially, takes it from all of them, and uses the money to fund his lifestyle so he can spoil the new wife that he brought into the show viewers and then make the husband of the woman that left that was abused by him. Except that it only is him that can free her, even though she's already married and has been married for more than 2 years, and with David for more than 3. What? I'm pretty sure the day she married David, she was done with Kody. I'm pretty sure if she had leftover hang-ups with Kody and was still not moving on, it wasn't. She certainly wouldn't get married. Kody and her relationship was so broken for a decade. They had next to no touch outside of the show. To act like she's just newly single and she just doesn't understand. I mean, come on now. And then to force this husband to accept this, it's just so awful on TLC's part to do this to these women. I was speaking to someone who's friends with Mary, or loosely, and they told me that there are people in Mary's life that are asking her to get off the show and get away from Kody, because as long as he is involved in her life in some way, he can still abuse her. Her friends want her off the show because he's still beating her. And this is a great example of how Kody is still abusing Christine and by proxy abusing her husband. And David's right to call it for what it is. Are you seriously saying to me, Soki? Is that what he said? That the only way that she can be freed is if I release her? What is she, a slave? Does he own her? Is she property? That's how these women are treated. They're treated like property, like animals, like slaves, sex slaves, to work and live and breed at the beck and call of the man. And finally, someone on this show calls it for what it is. Kody is treating these women like property. He had no claim over Christine. He never married her. No formal rights to her, ever. She doesn't need his permission to do anything. She doesn't need him to say anything to her for her to move on. And he also doesn't get to pick when she heals. I promise you that she still has trauma from the experience, but that doesn't mean she can't be in a new relationship. She's over Kody. She might not get over what he did to her. And that's 2 different things, because what he did was abusive. And it's very abuseric to tell the one he abused that she needs to stop talking about how he abused her. And that's not going to happen. Thank goodness Christine has a good husband. I was so glad to hear this. See this? And it's only going to get hotter next week. So, having him pop off at Kody and Robyn, and actually showing you how delusional and sick Robyn and Kody are, I mean, this is sick. We're finally seeing the sick, depraved, perverted side of marriage. Kody is a crazy creep, and so is Robyn. Tell me what your ideas are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.